Hey everyone, this is Jeff here, Pastor Jeff here with a State of the Church address. Easter Sunday coming up, 2023. I am here to demonstrate our nearly completed work in the back. We have lights that are hung and the power poles, and most of that's about finished up now. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Hey, I want to just shoot from the heart this morning. This is the kind of thing I don't think I've ever done this in 23 years of pastoring this church, but I just felt today, I was thinking and had some thoughts, and Paul did this in 2 Corinthians, which I'm reading in my quiet time. So it's sort of like, if Paul did it, maybe it's necessary. So I just want to talk to you from the heart for a couple minutes. And I just want to tell you that, like, things have really changed, the landscape of church and ministry since the pandemic. And we're all going through hard stuff. And but in terms of churches, you know, I study this sort of thing a lot, statistics, and talk to pastor friends. And there is a significant decline happening in most churches in America. Not the big ones. What's happening is little churches are feeding medium churches, and medium-sized churches are feeding big churches. And the reason for that is that post-pandemic, it sort of used to be in the average church in America that 20% of the people did about 80% of the work, which is just normal. But post-pandemic, it's more like 10% of the people do 90% of the work. And I'm not discounting the service of all the faithful people in America who do all this stuff. That's very real, and you know, it's wonderful. It keeps churches alive. But what's kind of happened is that the pandemic, it gave culture in general, and we're talking all sectors of culture, but I'm talking specifically spiritual, religious church. It gave us an opportunity to sort of pull back and say, hey, let me take care of me. And, you know, my health is most important. My freedom is most important. My values are most important, which was important, you know, and is important. That's certainly valid. But what happened is it gave people an excuse to stay home, to seclude themselves, to not be involved because they didn't want to get COVID, or didn't want to be around people that didn't respect masks or vaccines or all the stuff. And you throw in all the other political tension and racial tension. And so there's just sort of this blanket over the church now, particularly the first world church in the world, that I have termed church lite. And it's sort of like, now it's okay if I just kind of dabble, because I'm tired, because I don't want to get COVID, because people are dumb, because blah, blah, blah. And the effect that that's had is that, again, the most of the work, smaller churches, we're a medium-sized church, but smaller churches no longer have the volunteers to do the kinds of ministries for children, for outreach, for whatever, marriage care, parenting care, whatever, because people aren't there to volunteer, to lead, to serve, to give their tithe. So those small churches aren't able anymore to resource ministries, and they can't provide things. So what happens is you've got the faithful that stick in there, but then you've got like large groups of people that say, well, this church really no longer has what I need anymore. And it's because there aren't the people to do those things. And then so they go to medium-sized churches that have better programs. And then the same thing happens in medium-sized churches. People look around, they're like, yeah, you know, I really want a more rockin' band, or I want more for my Sunday school, or I want a better youth ministry, or I want whatever, you know. And so they then leave medium-sized churches and they feed large churches, because large churches have resources extra to spare, and they can hire staff and have enough, you know, resources to do these things. So it's kind of a weird effect, and that's just happening really all over churches. I mean, most of the pastors I talk to. And again, it just kind of goes back to that whole thing of like, you just have a few people really doing most of the work, because of this church lite mentality, you know, church lite is what I mean. And I'm not gonna lie to you, we're tired. The leaders of this church, the Vineyard Community Church, your church. Personally, we planted this church from nothing, and it was not easy. 80% of new church starts fail within 2 years, and there's a reason for that. God blessed us, and we didn't. But you know, we were tired. We were raising 4 kids, and we had a medically complex child, and that really took us for a loop. And then we undertook this wonderful thing that God has given us, and that wore me out. And then after that, I had a group of people that tried to publicly take me down and divide this church. And praise God, did not succeed. And some of you know what I'm talking about, some of you don't, but praise God, that didn't happen. But that wore on us. And then COVID came. And I'm in a place, honestly, again, you know, and I can say this because this is what Paul says in 2 Corinthians. He says, I'm just tired, and it's weary. It's wearing on us. We want to have more kids' church classes, but we can't because we don't have the volunteers to keep them open. We want to have more of a worship team, but we can't because we don't have the volunteers to staff it. On and on and on. So anyhow, I want to share that to just not get too much into, you know, into the weeds of stuff. But I guess my ending of this video, just kind of bearing my heart to you, would just say, church light is not what we're called to. It's not how you raise your kids. Church isn't a convenience. It's an honor. It's a privilege. And the people at this church who are serving you or trying to serve you, I can tell you every staff member and leader that I appoint does it with a imperfect but very pure heart. And we want the best for you, and we want Jesus for you. And so, you know, my prayer has been for years, but especially is just Matthew 9. Lord, the harvest is plentiful. The workers are, sometimes it feels like few. And again, I'm not negating all the hundreds of thousands of faithful in America that are working hard for their churches, but just pray to the Lord of the harvest that he would send workers into the harvest, because there's lost people that need to find Jesus, and there's broken people that need healing, and there's lonely people that need a family, and that's us. That's what I've given my life to. So Easter is going to be great. Thanks for watching this. I'm going to make this under 8 minutes, so I'm going to end abruptly. Bless you. I love being your pastor. I'll talk to you soon.